Um, I chose postpartum depression. I'm a mom of two. It resonates with me. I have a 2-year-old and a 5-month-old. I just think it's important to kind of spread awareness on postpartum depression for both men and women, and those who plan on being potential parents, and even those who don't know anything about parenthood. It's so essential. I would explain postpartum depression for being a mental state or a long depressive episode that takes place for those who are pregnant or even after just giving birth. They say it's within that first year, but I often feel like it can extend just when you have those moments of where your mental is connected to whatever your kids are doing, if that makes sense. Some symptoms are sadness, loss of sleep or interest, low appetite, low energy, low sex drive, frequent mood changes, guilt or grief. A concerning statistics in this area is that 50% of mothers went undiagnosed after reporting depressive symptoms in 2024. I think this is something that happens because it is so normalized for women to lose themselves after giving birth, and it's so common to feel that sense of lost after having a child. So I feel like a lot of the time doctors kind of sweep it under the rug just because it's something that everyone goes through. But I think it's important for this not to happen just because different women go through it differently. Um, the history of it. Postpartum depression wasn't labeled or even a term in the medical field until the late 90s. Prior to that, they kind of labeled it as hysteria, which is actually being labeled crazy, which I think is insane because it took studies and research and extensive common um, symptoms for people to say, okay, this is actually something that needs to be accepted. This is something that needs to be labeled a mental or medical disorder. The biological impacts of PPD is that there is a major shift in the hormonal system, whether it be pregnancy or postpartum. With pregnancy, there's a heightened estrogen, progesterone, and stress hormones that are released throughout the body. It's abnormal to the body, so the body kind of loses its natural chemistry. Also, with that being said, postpartum your body is trying to go back to that initial chemistry that it was composed of prior to you having a whole life and having a baby. But because you had those hormones for 9 months, it kind of takes a while for all of those things to go back to what is considered normal. This can be a major contribution to those depressive episodes and other mental shifts just because those hormone levels really can trigger those depressive episodes and other things. Just it's just such a fluctuation. Your body becomes overwhelmed. For the social impacts, there's a major social component that comes with postpartum, whether it be the mother is very focused on the child and their needs more than themselves, the child's schedule, the child's needs, the child's milestones, their feeding times, their diaper changing times. It can be very overwhelming for a first time mom. Also, the overall performance of the mother and her abilities, she might kind of beat herself up. She might kind of isolate herself because she doesn't feel understood or like anybody can relate to what she's going through. Research shows that reduced work ethic, financial stability, and other things can be impacted towards her quality of life, especially for if she is dealing with postpartum. The psychological component is that postpartum depression consists of many psychological effects, with them being anxiety and depression, excessive worry about motherhood and the baby. This is kind of like very similar to the social component of things. Loss of self, pre-pregnancy, and that mentality. If left untreated, it can lead to several factors: poor infant and mother relationship, recurrent episodes, chronic mental health issues, and low social support because you don't feel understood, so you don't really want to seek that social environment. It's very psychological. For prevention and treatment, wellness and support programs can be helpful, counseling, signs sign awareness, prevention, and anything that may be helpful for those pregnant and postpartum. Medications can be administered for those who may be dealing with it on a higher scale. And social support can absolutely be helpful if you just hear another woman telling you, oh my gosh, I'm going through that too. That can absolutely be helpful for both prevention and treatment. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. I included some references that helped me compose all of this great work. Sorry about my baby. Um, and if you know anybody going through postpartum, just be a shoulder for them to lean on. Thank you so much for listening.